In all the training athletes do for golf, one argument has been apparent. Is golf a science or an art? Are you one to look at launch angle, club path, and swing speed, or are you just thinking about the shape of the ball and where you want to carry it to? Park girls varsity golf coach Kevin Jones said golf could be considered both ways, a science and an art. He said while one could initially consider golf to be played through the mechanics of a golf swing, there is creativity involved in the game that requires golfers to be more than just scientific.
Well, in my opinion, it's both, and we can cover both topics, science and art. Off the top of my head, when you gave me the question ahead of time, I was like, well, it's just the mechanics of the swing would be the science, and then, of course, the architecture in golf would be the art. But for me personally, the art part of golf is creating the shots and looking at what every shot you have an opportunity to map out something that's creative and using design.
According to Park Jr. Zach Stillman, a varsity golfer, he considers himself to play golf through a more artistic lens. Golf takes immense focus and a state of calmness, Stillman said.
I would say I play with more of an artistic mindset. When you're really playing competition, you can't be focused on sort of the scientific aspect of your swing. You have to be kind of in tune with the game of itself and sort of in tune with your swing in the sense that you can't be making changes when you're playing. And so it's important that you're just sort of focused, calm, relaxed, and that's more of an art than it is a science.
Kieran Alvey, a senior on Park's girls golf varsity team, said she plays golf more scientifically than artistically. According to her, while she understands some golfers have the natural ability to swing without thinking, she has to be actively paying attention to what she's doing while she hits the ball.
I think I play with a more scientific aspect because the way that I think about it, some people can go in and they can just like not use their brain and hit the ball, and they just have like kind of a way of doing it. Like, for example, like some people on the team, like they just need to focus and they'll be able to hit well. But for me, like I'm thinking about like what are my hips doing, what are my shoulders doing, what are my wrists doing, and it's like all different components that I'm adding up in my head. And if I'm not thinking about each and every one, then I hit a bad shot. So I think it's more scientific in that aspect because I just am thinking about it in a different way.
Jones said swing mechanics are important, and physics, geometry, and biomechanics play crucial roles in that. He said all of these elements combine to make a scientific golf swing, as well as the technology of your club and the spin you create on the golf ball.
When I did some further research on the mechanics of golf, which I think is important, I learned that physics, geometry, and biomechanics all play a part in the science aspect of it. For the physics, it's the torque, inertia, and force. And then for the geometry, which I'm really attracted to, is the distance, angles, and trajectory. And then, of course, the biomechanics is how the body moves when you're swinging. And then, of course, another part of that is the technology of the golf equipment. And then another thing that I learned, which I'm not really good at, but is spin.
According to Stillman, how textbook your golf swing is matters up to a certain point, but many golfers differ in their mechanics. He said consistency and maintaining the fundamentals are the most significant aspect of a person's golf swing.
To a certain extent, like you need to have consistent fundamentals down, and you need to be able to, be very consistent with your swing. But it's not the end all be all. There are plenty of guys on tour, people in general that have kind of odd swings in golf, but the result is good. And so it just has to be something you can consistently repeat is the main thing.
Alvey said, over having a good golf swing, players must be mentally strong because that is the most difficult and key part of playing the game well. According to her, you need to be able to move on from hard shots quickly.
I think mindset is the biggest part of golf, and I think that if you can't control how you're feeling or letting go of just one shot, because at the end of the day, one shot is 1 point, like you can always bring it back and you can always lose it. So like you gotta let go of the bad shots and you gotta focus on the good shots. And then for me, like it's like memory of the goldfish. I just move on to my next shot and I make it the best one I can, because if I don't, then I fall behind.
Agreeing with Alvey, Stillman said mentality is crucial to the sport. According to him, he takes time before his shot to envision his dream outcome and tries to focus on the good instead of the bad shots.
I mean, the mental game is more of the battle than the physical part. It's super important that you can kind of find that balance between locked in and sort of really focused, but also relaxed and calm. Something I do before every shot is I do visualize it. I take a deep breath before every swing, kind of center myself, and then take the shot from there. But your mental game is really important. We tend to focus on the bad shots always instead of the good ones, and so something that I'm trying to do as I work over this winter is every time I hit a good shot or I have a good feel, I sort of try to take a moment to remember that. What did I do good from that shot? And sort of catalog that more than I do my misses. And so it's really important that you focus on your good ones more than your bad ones, and that you're more calm just throughout the golf shot and the golf round as you play.
Overall, a person can play golf through either lens, scientific or artistic. Good golfers can acknowledge both viewpoints are present in the game. Also, it's major to note golf swings vary depending on the person, but one thing that should always remain consistent is having a positive attitude.